Before the story begins, pause for just a second, because if you've ever felt judged, underestimated, or told you'd never be good enough, this story is for you. And if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Kindly Tube, because stories change lives, and this one might change how you see success forever. Everyone in the room already knew the result before the paper was turned over. The billionaire's son had failed again. The tutor lowered his eyes, the teacher sighed, and the father's silence was heavier than anger. Then, from the corner of the marble hallway, a maid's daughter watched quietly and whispered a secret that would change everything. Arjun Mehra had everything money could buy. A mansion that echoed with footsteps, cars that shone brighter than the sun, and a father whose name opened doors across the country. But at 16, Arjun carried a weight no one could see. His report cards were disasters. Red marks, disappointed notes, and words like careless, unfocused, and below potential followed him like a curse. Each failure tightened the knot in his chest. Each exam felt like proof that no matter how rich his family was, he himself was a disappointment. His father, Vikram Mehra, was a self-made billionaire who believed in numbers, discipline, and results. In his world, effort always led to success. So when Arjun failed again and again, Vikram couldn't understand it. "I've given you the best schools, the best teachers, the best resources," he said one evening, his voice controlled but cold. "What more do you need?" Arjun had no answer. He stared at the floor, wishing he could disappear. The mansion staff had learned to stay invisible during moments like these. Among them was Saira, a maid who cleaned quietly and spoke only when spoken to. She had a daughter named Noor, the same age as Arjun. Noor often waited for her mother in the staff quarters after school, sitting with her books balanced on her knees, studying under dim light. She was a bright student, but no one in the Mehra household noticed her except Arjun. He first saw her one afternoon when he skipped another tutoring session and wandered into the back garden. Noor was there, solving math problems on scrap paper. Curious and tired of his own failures, Arjun asked her what she was studying. She looked up, surprised, but answered politely. When he admitted he didn't understand the same topic she was working on, she explained it in a simple way, no pressure, no judgment. For the first time, it made sense. Over the next few weeks, their paths crossed again and again. Noor never mocked him for not knowing things. She never acted impressed by his wealth either. To her, Arjun was just another student struggling to understand. Slowly, without realizing it, Arjun began to feel something new around her, calm. No expectations. No fear of failing. Then came the day that changed everything. Arjun had just received another failing result. He was sitting alone on the stairs behind the house, his eyes burning. Noor noticed and hesitated before sitting a few steps away. "Can I tell you something?" she asked softly. Arjun shrugged. "Everyone else already has." She took a breath. "You're not stupid," she said. "You're scared." Arjun looked at her sharply. She continued, "My teachers say fear blocks the mind. When you're afraid of failing, your brain focuses on the fear, not the question. I used to freeze too. Then my mother told me a secret." Arjun listened, his heart pounding. She said, "Study like you're teaching someone you love. Not to pass. Not to impress. Just to understand so you can explain it kindly." When I stopped trying to prove myself, things changed. That was the secret. Simple. Almost too simple. But it hit Arjun harder than any lecture ever had. That night, instead of cramming formulas in panic, Arjun tried something different. He imagined explaining each concept to Noor, slowly, patiently. When he didn't understand something, he didn't panic, he paused. He asked why. For the first time, studying didn't feel like a battlefield. Days turned into weeks. Noor helped him when she could, but more importantly, she reminded him not to fear mistakes. His next test result wasn't perfect, but it was better. Then the next improved again. Teachers were surprised. Tutors changed their tone. And Vikram Mehra noticed something he hadn't seen in years: his son was trying without terror in his eyes. When the final exam results came, Arjun passed. Not just barely, he did well. The mansion filled with celebration, but Arjun looked for Noor. He found her in the staff quarters, helping her mother fold laundry. Without thinking, he bowed his head slightly and said, "Thank you." Vikram Mehra later learned the truth. About the maid's daughter. About the secret. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he did something no one expected. He offered Noor a full scholarship and promoted her mother, not out of charity, but respect. "You taught my son something money never could," he said. Years later, Arjun would stand on a stage as a successful man, but he would tell the same story again and again. About how success didn't begin with privilege or pressure, but with understanding and courage. About how the greatest lessons sometimes come from the quietest voices. So if you've ever felt like you're failing while others expect you to succeed, remember this. Fear is not your enemy, it's a signal. Learn without fear. Learn with kindness. And never underestimate the power of one simple secret. If this story touched your heart, like the video and subscribe to Kindly Tube, because the next story might be the one that changes your life.